Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the incredible military power of Saudi Arabia. Get ready for some mind-blowing facts and figures. We're talking tanks, planes, ships, and maybe even some secret stuff I can't pronounce. We're gonna break down just how strong Saudi Arabia's military really is, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. Make sure you stick around until the end because I've got a challenge for you guys that involves guessing the craziest piece of Saudi military tech. Whoever gets closest gets... well, you'll have to watch to find out. First up, we gotta talk about the backbone of any military, the people. Saudi Arabia's got a massive standing army, hundreds of thousands strong, ready to defend their country. And these aren't just any soldiers, they're trained by some of the best in the world, using some of the most high-tech equipment you can imagine. We're talking rigorous training in the desert heat, mastering everything from small arms to heavy artillery. They even have special forces units trained for those super intense, super secret missions. You know the ones I'm talking about. And don't forget about the reserves, hundreds of thousands more soldiers ready to be called up if things get really serious. These guys and gals are the real deal, and they're a huge part of what makes Saudi Arabia's military so formidable. So, next time you see a picture of a Saudi soldier, remember, that's just one person in a massive, highly trained force. Alright guys, let's talk about the big toys. Tanks. Saudi Arabia has over 1,000 of these steel beasts, and we're not talking your grandpa's tanks, we're talking top-of-the-line American-made Abrams tanks, some of the most advanced battle tanks on the planet. These things are like mobile fortresses, packing serious firepower and armor. But it's not just about tanks. Saudi Arabia also has a massive arsenal of armored vehicles, artillery, and missile systems. We're talking mobile rocket launchers that can rain down fire from miles away, anti-tank missiles that can take out a tank with one shot, and enough artillery to make even the bravest soldier think twice. And let's not forget about their ballistic missile program. They've got missiles that can reach hundreds, even thousands of miles. That's some serious firepower. This is just a small taste of the firepower Saudi Arabia has at its disposal on the ground. Trust me, you don't want to mess with these guys. Buckle up because now we're taking to the skies with the Royal Saudi Air Force. These guys have a fleet of over 800 aircraft, including some of the most advanced fighter jets in the world. We're talking F-15 Eagles, Eurofighter Typhoons, and even their own fleet of American-made F-35 Lightning IIs on order. These are some of the most advanced, most deadly fighter jets ever built. But it's not just about fancy jets. They've also got a fleet of transport planes, helicopters, and even tanker aircraft to keep those jets fueled up and in the fight. They've invested heavily in training their pilots too. These guys are the best of the best, capable of pulling off some seriously impressive maneuvers. And with their advanced radar systems and air defense networks, they can see everything coming their way. So if you're thinking about messing with Saudi airspace, think again. The Royal Saudi Air Force is a force to be reckoned with, and they're ready to defend their skies from any threat. Alright landlubbers, let's dive into the world of the Royal Saudi Navy. Now they might not be the biggest navy out there, but they pack a serious punch, controlling some of the most important shipping lanes in the world. They've got frigates, corvettes, patrol boats, you name it, they've got it. And let's not forget about their submarines. These underwater warriors are silent, deadly, and a crucial part of Saudi Arabia's naval defense. They're constantly patrolling the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf, making sure that trade flows freely and that nobody's trying to sneak anything past them. And they're not afraid to mix it up if they have to. They've got anti-ship missiles, torpedoes, and enough firepower to sink an enemy fleet. Plus, they're constantly upgrading their equipment and training with some of the best navies in the world. They even have special forces units trained for those daring underwater missions. Talk about intense. So the next time you see a picture of a Saudi warship, remember, that's just one part of a powerful force that's keeping the seas safe. Now things are about to get really interesting because we're talking about strategic weapons. Now, this is a bit of a touchy subject, but it's no secret that Saudi Arabia has been investing heavily in its defense capabilities. While they haven't officially confirmed it, there are reports that they have access to some seriously powerful ballistic missiles, capable of reaching targets thousands of miles away. We're talking about weapons that could change the game in any conflict, and it's something that other countries are definitely keeping a close eye on. They've also invested heavily in their air defense systems, creating a network of radars and missile batteries designed to shoot down any incoming threats. And let's not forget about cyber warfare. In today's world, the battlefield isn't always physical. Saudi Arabia has been beefing up its cyber defenses, making sure that they're ready for anything that comes their way in the digital realm. It's a dangerous world out there, and Saudi Arabia is making sure they're prepared for anything. Alright guys, time for a little math. When it comes to military spending, Saudi Arabia isn't messing around. They're consistently ranked among the top spenders in the world, pouring billions upon billions of dollars into their armed forces. We're talking about buying the most advanced weapon systems, training their troops to the highest standards, and making sure they have everything they need to defend their country. They've even been investing heavily in research and development, trying to create the next generation of military technology. And it's not just about buying shiny new toys. A big chunk of that spending goes towards maintaining their existing equipment, making sure that their tanks are running, their jets are flying, and their ships are sailing. So yeah, Saudi Arabia is serious about defense, and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get futuristic. Saudi Arabia isn't just buying the latest military tech, they're developing their own, pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the battlefield. We're talking about drones that can fly for hours, carrying out reconnaissance missions, or even launching precision strikes. They're even experimenting with artificial intelligence, trying to create autonomous systems that can make decisions on the fly. And let's not forget about cyber warfare. Saudi Arabia is investing heavily in its cyber capabilities, making sure they can defend their networks from attack and even launch their own offensive operations. They're even building state-of-the-art military bases, complete with advanced training facilities and everything their troops need to prepare for the conflicts of the future. It's clear that Saudi Arabia is committed to staying ahead of the curve when it comes to military technology, and they're quickly becoming a major player in the world of defense innovation. Now, even with all that military might, Saudi Arabia knows that it can't go it alone. They've built strong military alliances with some of the most powerful countries in the world, strengthening their position on the global stage. Their closest ally is, of course, the United States. They've been working together for decades, sharing intelligence, conducting joint military exercises, and even buying weapons from each other. But it's not just about the US. Saudi Arabia has also been strengthening ties with other countries in the region, like Egypt and the United Arab Emirates, forming a united front against common threats. These alliances are crucial for Saudi Arabia. They provide a deterrent against potential aggressors, knowing that an attack on one is an attack on all. So while Saudi Arabia might have a powerful military, they understand that diplomacy and cooperation are just as important as tanks and fighter jets. Alright, time for a little geography lesson. Saudi Arabia's location might seem like all desert at first glance, but it's actually incredibly strategic, and they've been very smart about how they've positioned their forces. They've got coastlines on both the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf, giving them control over some of the most important shipping lanes in the world. And they've got military bases strategically positioned along those coastlines, ready to defend against any threats. They've also got a massive land border with Yemen, which has been a hotbed of conflict in recent years. To counter this, they've deployed a significant number of troops and equipment along the border, effectively creating a buffer zone. And let's not forget about their air bases. They've got airfields scattered across the country, allowing them to quickly scramble jets and respond to threats from any direction. They've even got their eyes on space, investing in satellite technology to give them a clear view of the battlefield. So yeah, Saudi Arabia might be a large country, but they're not wasting any space. They've turned their geography into a strategic asset, making themselves a tough nut to crack for any potential enemy. Alright guys, here's where things get really interesting. Saudi Arabia's been working hard to boost its domestic military production, and they're making some serious progress. They're not just talking about building rifles and ammunition either. They're talking about producing their own armored vehicles, warships, and even components for advanced missile systems. Now this is a big deal for a couple of reasons. First, it reduces their reliance on foreign suppliers, which is always a good thing when it comes to national security. Second, it creates jobs and boosts their own economy, which is a win-win in anyone's book. They're even partnering with international companies to gain access to the latest technology and expertise. They've still got a long way to go before they're completely self-sufficient, but they're definitely on the right track. So keep an eye out for the Made in Saudi Arabia label on future military hardware because they're just getting started. That's a wrap on our deep dive into the military power of Saudi Arabia. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more exciting content. From their massive manpower to their cutting-edge technology, it's clear that Saudi Arabia has what it takes to defend itself and its interests on the global stage. But what do you guys think? Did any of these facts surprise you? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget about that challenge. See you next time.